Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful corporate gown. If this is something you're interested to learn, want to keep on watching, and let's get started. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. I want to make the dart invisible and also close the bust dart, so that's why I'll be drafting on a pattern paper. So first thing I did was to mark half of my client shoulder measurement, which is 18 plus half inch. Okay, I came down by 8 inch for the armhole depth. I also marked half of the shoulder measurement plus half an inch there. I will connect the 2 points to give me a straight line and also extend it towards the armhole side, just like this. Okay, so after I was done with that, I'm going to come down by my client bust point, which is 11 inch, then under bust, which is 15 inch, the waistline, which is 18. So I'll repeat the same thing on this other side. I'll use my ruler to make a straight line across, just like this. Okay, so after I was done with this, I'm going to come down by the hip line of 25 inch. Okay, I will do the same thing on the other side, then connect a straight line. After doing that, I'll label as my bust point the under bust, waistline, and the hip line. Next is to determine the length you want for your gown. So when transferring to the actual fabric, I'll complete the length. The next thing I want to do is to mark half of the nipple to nipple. My client's nipple to nipple is 8 inch, then half of it is 4 inch. I'll mark 4 inch on the bust point, the under bust, the waistline, hip line, and straight down. I'll connect a straight line using the 4 inch I marked. Then after that, at the waistline, I'll subtract half inch on both sides. This will serve as the dart intake. Okay, so I'll connect from the bust point to the waistline, connect from the waistline to the dart leg, just like this. Okay, so once I'm done with this, next thing I want to do is to include the body measurement. I'll mark quarter of the bust measurement plus 2 inch for seam allowance. At the waistline, I'll mark quarter of the waist measurement plus 2 inch for seam allowance. I did not include it that. At the hip line, I marked quarter of the hip measurement plus 2 inch for the seam allowance. Then I'll connect from the bust line to the waistline with my stretch ruler. I'll keep the stretch ruler aside and use curve rule to connect from the waistline to the hip line. Okay, so I want to go in by 1 inch to give me a pencil shape, just a little bit. So I marked it, then connect like so. You can now see the difference. The next thing I did was to come down from the bust point by 2 inch. Then you connect from the bust point to the 2 inch. Okay, the next thing I did was to come down again by 1 inch for shoulder slope. Then I marked 3 inch for neck width. I also came down by 3 inch for the front neck depth. Then I'll use my curve rule to connect a round neckline from the neck width to the neck depth of the front. Okay, then I'll also connect the shoulder slope like so. All right, then also make your armhole curve. You connect your armhole curve like so. You get. Next thing I did again was to come down by 1.5 inch for the back neck depth. Okay, so I'll just connect a round neckline from the 1.5 inch to the neck width, just like this. So this is neckline for the front and back. Next thing I want to do is to cut it out. All right, so the that is invisible. All right, so what I did was to slash through the bust dart, and also I'll close the dart. I don't want to add any dart to the dress, so that's why I'm making it invisible by closing up the dart. If you want yours to have that, you should replace the 1 inch for the dart. All right, replace your 1 inch for the dart intake, then make that while sewing the dress. I don't want to have any dart. I want to make it invisible. That's why I'm closing up the dart. If you want your dress to have that, you should consider replacing 1 inch for the dart intake. You get. So I don't want mine to have any dart. That's why I'm closing it up. So this remains invisible for me. So these are the fabrics I'm working with. I have 2 yards of lemon crepe here and also 1 yard of milk color crepe. The same stuff with the lemon crepe. You get. Next thing I did was to transfer to the actual fabric. Have cut the back and front and also removed any form of zipper boldness. You can see I increased the length to the desired length of my client. So what I want to do now is to start sewing. This is the front piece. So what I want to do is to join the back piece, one of it right sides facing each other, and I'll go ahead and stitch the shoulder. Okay, I'll join the shoulder using half an inch stitching allowance. So after joining this other shoulder, I'll repeat the same thing on the second shoulder. Okay, you will first join your both shoulders using half inch. Then after joining the both shoulder, guys, the next you want to do is to secure the zip allowance, so you will be able to shape your dress very properly. Okay, you should make a loose stitch in order to secure your zip allowance side. So I used 1 inch for this. Okay, you stitch, you secure it like so. So after doing that, what I did next was to place right sides facing each other on the floor. Now I want to shape it, but the first thing I did was to come down by the waistline and the hip line. Then I will take the measurement of my client. You should divide the bust measurement by 2. I've done that, and the waist measurement by 2. All right, divide the waist measurement by 2. I've done that, and the hip measurement divide by 2 as well. Okay, every measurement you are taking here should be divided by 2. So at the down part, I marked 4 inch on both sides. Okay, I came out by 4 inch on both sides to enable me have a very pencil gown. Do you get? So from the hip line, I will connect to the down part and also connect to the waist and to my bust line. You connect from your bust line to the waist, from the waist to the hip. You can see the shape I have here. So I will run a stitch. I've gone ahead to shape. The next thing I did now was to fold the milk color crepe fabric. I'll just fold into two like so. That's it on the floor. Then get the center front of your neckline. You place it like so. I'm holding both the front and back neckline together. Notch your front neckline. Notch your center front neckline. Then you trace with chalk, just like you see me doing here. When you are placing this, you should give half-inch space on the milk color crepe. You can see I gave half-inch space at the center front of the milk color crepe. Do you get? So after tracing the neckline, I'll just go ahead and cut. Okay, you cut it out. So the half-inch you gave, the half-inch space you left there will be used for stitching allowance. Okay, so now determine the length you want your cape to be. So I want it at 3.5. Okay, for the stitching allowance and everything, I just marked 3.5 for the length and for the allowance. So after marking, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So remember, the fabric is on a fold. After cutting the first one, I'll place and cut the second one. So I will have about two of this. You get? I'll have about two of this. So after cutting, guys, you can see what I have here. So I will note the wrong side of the fabric. All right, the next you want to do is to hem the down part of the band or of the cape and also stitch the side. Okay, so I want to cut the facing. I'll repeat the same thing I did on the milk color crepe. You just trace the neckline, make sure your fabric is on a fold. So this is for the facing. Okay, so I want to go ahead and sew, but before I sew, I've already ironed a stay on both band or cape. I've ironed a stay on both cape, and from the wrong side of the fabric, I'll use half-inch to stitch this side, then also hem the down part with half-inch. Then after sewing, I hope you understand what I'm saying. After sewing, I'll trim out a little bit allowance or excess, whatever. Just trim it out like so, leaving 1/4 inch. Then I'll turn the cape right side facing each other. Just turn it right side, then use scissors to bring the edges out, just like this. So now that I'm done with this, next thing I want to do now is to determine where my zip will start from. So I place the zip from the neckline, and from the hem part of the sleeve I went up by 1.5 inch and have already marked. But since I already made a stress stitch to the hem part, I'll just make a stitch. I just stitch it at that point, then I'll fix my zip. You get? So before I fix the zip, I'm going to place one of the cape at the center front of the neckline. Remember I said you should notch your center front. So after notching and after cutting out your cape and after sewing the cape as well, you should place one of the cape at that point you notched, okay, leaving a little space for the second one. So you can see this cape did not get to the zip allowance, so I placed the facing right side facing each other, and I'll just go ahead and stitch. I'll use half inch to stitch or to join this cape, okay. So I have joined the cape to that point. I will pause, then place the second cape at the same point. Then I'll just go ahead and finish up my sewing. All right, so I'll just go ahead and sew. You sew together with your facing. So after stitching, guys, this was what I had. So I'll just trim out a little bit of the allowance, so I will have like quarter of an inch left, okay. So after trimming it out, you can see what I have here. Next you want to do now is to give it a very nice press. Head over straight to your ironing table and give it a very nice press. But before you do that, just make a top stitch. I use white thread to make a top stitch on the cape. You get, so just make it very neat like so. So after fixing my cape, the next thing I did was to attach my zip, okay. I will place my zip very close to the cape, then I'll just go ahead and join. So after attaching my zip, the next thing I did was to fix the sleeve, okay. I went ahead to fix the sleeve, but I did that off camera. So that is a basic long sleeve with band. It's very simple. If you don't know how to cut a basic long sleeve, I will leave a link in the description box. But what I attached was a long basic sleeve you get with band. So this is what the neckline looks like after I was done. You can see how neat and beautiful the neckline look. So guys, this is the result of our beautiful dress. My client want to use the dress for photo shoot, so after snapping I'll upload the video or the picture on short, or I'll just post it so you see the results very well.